Hi Mario.
Hello.
Anything new?
They bombed the shit out of Iran. They killed the Ayatollah.
Yeah, they say all the Iranians are cheering now. It's
Yeah,
like,
they showed a video of women dancing in the streets,
yeah, covered up or not covered?
not covered, not co- But the thing, I think it's a mistake. They will recognize them
Their faces, yeah, it's a little bit too early.
and but also they bombed Haifa and Tel Aviv. Apart from all the Arab countries.
Oh yeah? I'm
Yeah,
trying to get
bomb.
news from Israel. I can't get anything updated. It's all old news.
Yeah, they bombed. They destroyed 28 buses in Haifa. I mean, it must have been in a parking
In a
lot, no?
garage, yeah.
And they also
Oh, that
they
woman was killed in Tel Aviv, I see here. One woman killed in Tel Aviv.
yeah, the whole building was they're looking for survivors. And also they bombed the CIA in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, for Vus?
I don't know, they bombed Abu Dhabi and Qatar. Qatar of all places,
There's two. Well, that's supposed to be on Michigan.
unless unless the GPS doesn't work well.
How about Hong Kong? Did they bomb Hong Kong?
Never.
No, it's too far. שבוע טוב, הרי.
Shavua Tov. Shavua Tov.
But,
Speak to your kids?
Not yet. It's still early.
Uh-huh.
Uh, it's 5:20 in the morning.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
But they were in the bomb. I mean, they were. There's been
Bombshell.
400 missiles launched at Israel, so they've been in the bomb shelters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
For they come out, then they go back in because
Yeah.
yeah. My
we get
granddaughter was in a bombshell in Tel
right,
Aviv.
we get the alert on our phone
Oh,
when.
you do when they have to go into a shelter?
Yeah.
Interesting.
By the way, we got it at 8 o'clock this morning.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got notice about missiles.
We need a big issue. Never mind, whatever. But Mir Hashem is coming.
Okay, we're on Mem Zion. Mem Zion 47. Tomorrow we'll learn at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Torah Rabbanan gives us a tzedek mekachin salechem ela b'shchita. When we bring the two lambs on Shavuos, the shchita of the lambs is what's sanctifies the bread. Ketzah. Shachton lishman, dezark dam lishman. You shechted the lamb lishma, you did the zrika lishma, so then there's no problem, kodesh alechem. The lechem is sanctified, and you can eat it. Shachton shalol lishman, dezark dam and shalol lishman. If the shechita of the kvasim were done shalol lishma, and the zrika was shalol lishma, lo kodesh alechem, then the lechem is not sanctified. Shachton lishman, dezark dam and shalol lishman. So there's only shechita. Halechem kodesh ve'ena kodesh. It's we'll see what that means, but the shechita alone creates kedusha. They hold that the zrika has to be the zrika as well. If it's only the shechita that's done, it's not enough. My time at the Rebbe, the Chsiv, the Esoayil, this has to do with the Nazir. Yasa Zevach Shlamim Lashem al Salamatzos. To teach, so you notice it uses the word Zevach, Zvicha min Shchita. Lemreima de Shchita Mekadsha. So Shchita is the act that is Mekadesh the Lechem. What does Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon do with that? The Yasa Atshi Yasa Kolas Yoisa. The Yasa means you have all the doings that have to be done. I mean, you have to shecht, you have to do zrika. So it's not just enough to shchita. I've Rebbe Nabi Haksiv Yaseh. So the iksiv zevach yaseh, I would agree with you. Get the comment. How do you see yaseh zevach, but me yaseh bezvicha? How do you do it with zvicha only? I've Reb Lezer Reb Shimon haksiv zevach, which seems to imply only zvicha's need. So the Gemara says they need it for something else. The lechem has to be in the world when they do the shechita. You can't shecht and do the lechem afterwards. Otherwise, it would not become sanctified. Now, the Gemara used a strange phraseology with Rebbe. He says, kadosh ve'ena kadosh. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. What does it mean? You're kadosh and not kadosh. Abaya Amar kadosh ve'ena gomor. It's not a complete kedusha. Rava Amar kadosh ve'ena nitter. It has kedusha, but the kohanim are not allowed to eat it. What's the difference? My binayu. Binayu lemitfis pidyoinoi. If you try to transfer the kedusha of the lechem to money, does it work or not? When something has kedusha saguf, you can't transfer. When something only has kedusha damim, you can. Leabaya tofis pidyono. It doesn't become kadosh, b'kedusha saguf. It remains b'kedusha damim, and therefore the kedusha can be transferred to money. L'rava lo tofis pidyono. L'rava there is kedusha saguf, at least in part, and therefore you can't move the kedusha over to the money. Bishlam Rava. So Rava's pshat works. Rabbi Rab Shimon is whether the money is nitfas or not. Elala Abaya, the way Abaya said that it's kadosh ve'ena gomor. We still don't see Ma'ika ben Rabbi Rab Shimon. What would be the nafkamin in din? Ikbinar lives sula biyotze. If only something that has kedusha saguf, when you take it out, does it become nifsa? So according to Rava, there is kedusha saguf. So therefore, there's psul biyotze. According to Abai, there isn't, so there would be no psul in yotze. Boiner of Shmuel Rav Yitzchak Mamchia Barava. Kifsei atzeres. Sheshachtan lishman v'zork daman shelo lishman. You shechted the kvasim lishma. You did the zrika shelo lishma. Also alechem ma'u b'achila. Can you eat the bread? So alibid aman. Alibid Rab Lezer Rab Shimon. Ha'amar zrika hida mekacha. It's the zrika that has to be operative in order to eat the bread. So there's no shaila that you wouldn't be able to eat it. Yalibid Rebbe, well, Bein Labai, Bein Larava Kodesh Ben Nitru, they both agreed that you can't eat it. So according to everybody, you can't eat it. Rather, there's a third Tana. El Aliba Dahai Tana. The Tani Avud Rav Yirmiyah Barava. Shtei Alechem Shiyotzu Ben Shchita Lezrika. You had the Shtei Alechem, you did the Shchita of the Kvasim, and then they were removed. And then you brought them back, and then you did the Zrika. And Zarak Daman Shal Kvasim Chutz Lezmana. When you did the Zrika, you did it with a machshava of Chutz Lezmana. Rav Eliezer Omer Ein Balecha Mishum Pikul. Because there was a psul of Yotzei. Remember, Pikul, everything else has to be done perfectly. Here you didn't. Rabbi Kiva Omer Yesh Balecha Mishum Pikul. According to Rabbi Kiva, there will be pickle. Now, Amr of Sheshas. Hani Tanoi Karebi Svirlu. Both Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Kiva hold like Rebbe. The Amr Shchita Mekatsha. They held that the Shchita alone sanctifies the bread. Mi Rabbi Eliezer l'tamei. Domer ein zrika moelas liyotze. He's consistent with a shita somewhere else. That zrika does not help with something that was yotze out of the azora. It can only do it if it stayed inside the whole time. So the zrika cannot make them pigul. Rabbi Kiva tamidom zrika moelas liyotze. He says that the psul of yotze doesn't impact on the pigul. And therefore the zrika will make it pigul. Where do we see this? This not. A mure kotri kalim. You have a shlami, which is an example of kotri kalim. After zrika sadam, you're allowed to throw the insides, the innards, on the mizbech. However, a mure kotri kalim sheyotzu lifnei zrika sadam. The innards were taken out of the azar before you did the zrika sadam. Rav Yezer Amein Mo'alim Bam, the zrika doesn't work. And therefore, they don't become kadosh. And therefore, you're not chayiv me'ila if you benefit from it. And therefore, in chayav nalem mishum pigul nois v'tomei, if during an action of these kotshikalim, it'll not become pigul, or if it became pigul and you ate the emurim, you wouldn't get kores. Or noiser or tome. Bekivar moyalin ben, the yitzia does not impact the zrika from allowing the psulim of pigul noiser v'tome to attach to that korban. Now, do we say midizrikas pigul kovel lechem be pigul biyotze? Do we say that when you took the bread out and the pigul works, it works the same way kibasar, i.e., if the basar had been taken out, or if the basar that had not been taken out, and that basar becomes pigul, and if you eat the kazayas of that basar, you get kores. Would it work the same way with the pigul? Zrika shalol lishma nami shayilo. Let's say the zrika was done shalol lishma. Maybe it would imply, based on this, that you'd be able to eat the lechem. O dilma l'chum ramrinon. To be stringent, that to say that the even without doing the right zrika, the lechem is attached to the kvasim, we say, but lakula, to allow you to eat it, lo amrina. So maski fleur of pup. Umi maidechi isnu avroi pligi. Perhaps the machlokes is only when the zrika was done, when the lechem was outside. They hadn't been brought in. Dilma b'di isnu avroi de kolama lo pligi, the zrika mo'il liyotze. If the lechem was outside when they did the zrika, so everybody will agree that it doesn't make, the bread does not become pigul. It's only v'hadar ailinu pligi. The place where they're arguing is before the zrika, the lechem was taken outside, then brought back in, and then you did the zrika. They hold like Rebbe that once you did the shechita, there was sanctification of the loaves. And now, something that is nikdash is ipsalu b'yoytze, becomes invalidated through yitzia. And therefore, the zrika is not going to make it pigul. Rabbi Kiva krolez Rab Shimon, domar shechita lo makadsha. It's not the shechita that's makadish, it's the zrika. So the lechem was not kodesh yet. And therefore, lo mivsal b'yoytze. And therefore, when you do this, when you bring it back in and you do the zrika, it will become pigul. The Gemara Haima. That doesn't make sense. If you say, we understand, if you saw that Rebbe holds like, that Rabbi Kiva holds like Rebbe, that it's the shechita that is mekadeshim. So then you would say that the lechem became sanctified with the shechita of the lambs. Va'asya zrika kavalu b'pikul. then you can say that the zrika that is later on done with the machshavas pigul, the lechem has the ability to become pigul because it was miskadesh with the shchita. Eliyamek Rab Elazar Rab Shimon's for Leidomer Zvicha lo mekadsha, that the zvicha does not miskadesh it, and you have to only do the zrikas. Zrika's pigul mi miskadsha. It could never become nikdash in the first place to be invalidated through pigul, because a zrika with a machshavas pigul is not going to be miskadesh it. Right? V'amar Rav Gidol Amar Rav Zrika's pigul ain't mevila de meila. A zrika with an invalid machshava of pigul is not going to bring the korban to the level of kedusha where you're going to be chayv meila, and also in motzia midei meila. It doesn't like by kodshim kalim, the whole korban is subject to meila until you do the zrika, and then you're allowed to eat it. There's no meila anymore. It releases meila, but that kind of zrika of zrika's pigul is not going to do that. Right? It doesn't say that the emurim become also to use once you do the zrika, because it's an ineffective zrika because it's zrika's pigul. Right? Like we said, you're not allowed to eat the kosher kochim until you do the zrika. All of these zrikas, if you have machshavas pigul, don't work. So how can you say that the lechem will become pigul? It's got to become nikdash first. So lavi tutet Rav Gidol Amar. Yeah, but this statement of Rav Gidol Amar was rejected. So you can explain Rabbi Akiva the way we explained it. Boim Rav Yirmiyah Rav Zera. Kivsei atzeres sheshachton lishman v'oven alechem. You shechted the lambs with the proper lishma. The lechem became sanctified, but then they got lost. Maush yizrak daman shalol lishman latir basar b'achila. If you did the zrika shalol lishma, now you're not going to get credit for the korban, but you can eat the meat normally if you do zrika shalol lishma. Will that work here? You have an example of something that if you did it lishma, it won't be kosher, and now kosher shalol lishma? If there are no loaves, right, then you don't need then if you even if you did the zrika sadam for the kvasim, you can't eat it because you need the lechem for the kvasim as well. Once there's a connection through shchita between the kvasim and the shtei lechem, if either is lost, you have to destroy the other. So how could it be if you did the zrika lishma, you would not be able to eat the kvasim? So if you do it shalol lishma, it's got to be kosher. That can't make sense. However, the Gemara is not going to give us some examples where it does happen. The low, Varei Pesach koidim chatzois. Now, the korban Pesach is shechted after chatzois. Let's say you shechted it before chatzois, and you had an intent lishma l'shem Pesach. They ain't call it lishma, but if you shechted l'shem shlomim, we know that a korban Pesach, that for example, you left over a korban Pesach, and 3 weeks later you shechted shalol lishma, you can eat it. It's a shlomim. So if you shechted it lishma, you wouldn't be able to eat it because it's before its time. But for kosher shalol lishma, so that's an example of something where it's not kosher if you did it lishma, but it's kosher if you did it shalol lishma. So the Gemara says hacha ka'amina yesh lecha davar shenira lishma. Do you have an example of something that it was roy to be eaten if you did it lishma? So, for example, when you had the 2 lambs and the 2 loaves, and you shechted the lambs, at that point you could have eaten it. You could have eaten the lambs. So it was nira. That means if you did it lishma, it was available. But v'nitche milishma, but it was pushed aside because you had you didn't have the loaves anymore. So therefore comes out you can't eat the lambs, vein a kosher lishma. And now you're going to tell me if you have a shalol lishma, it's going to be kosher? The Gemara says, why not? V'lo? I'll show you we do have a case like that too. Hare Pesach achar zmano. Let's say you designated 5 animals to be a korban pesach. You used one, and you have these other animals, and 2 months later, this korban, if you would have shechted it on Yud Daled Nisan after Chatzos, it would have been okay if you did it lishma. Now, when you do it shalol lishma, it's kosher. It says a shlamim. So again, hachi kamina. Yesh l'cha davar shenira lishma. Do you have something that at one point it was kosher if you did it lishma? V'nishchat lishma. And if you shechted it lishma, for example, like the kvasim before you lost the loaves, v'nitchem lishma, and then you couldn't eat it, even though you did everything lishma because you lost the loaves. Ve'ena kosher lishma, the kosher shalol lishma. So the Gemara again says, "V'lo." I'll show you another case. V'rei toda. It's also okay if you do it shalol lishma. Shani toda derachmona karya shlam. There it says zevach todat shlamav, that a regular shlamim doesn't require lechem. So at toda, which where you lose the breads, you have sort of a backdoor loophole. Since the Torah refers to it as a shlamim, you can eat it even without breads. Okay, stop here. Okay,
Go ahead.
8:00. We tune in for start of Sefer Ezra.
Okay.
Hey,
See you soon.
Thank-
See you soon.
thank you.